the astral plane is like the psychic plane, which is also the emotional plane. And within this plane of consciousness is where all our emotions live, right? And so higher astral plane will be filled with energies of our higher emotions, and the lower astral plane will be where all of our lower emotions will reside. And so when we pass on, our emotional energies will, you know, we will split ourselves up, and then our emotional energies will go to the emotional plane. And depending on what kind of emotions we have, so the higher emotional energies will go to the higher astral plane, and the lower emotions will go to the lower astral plane. And so when there is an accumulation of these energies, like anger or depression or sadness, they then form entities within the astral plane. And so these entities in the astral plane are not necessarily our loved ones, people who have passed on. They're not really our ancestors. They are really just emotional energies, and they do take on an identity, and sometimes they take on the persona of a person, or they take on uh, you know identity of famous people even. And so that's why when people talk about haunted houses, they see, especially poltergeist, right? They see certain energies, or they see a figure, they see a person. A lot of times it is just a recording, right? It's just a playback of the energies that are embedded in the walls or in the space. And so, these energies, our goal, right, eventually is to, as we work on mastering our emotions and moving through all of our, negative emotions, all our emotional trauma, and all of that, we want to transform our lower emotions into higher emotions, so that we fill the astral plane with more higher emotions rather than lower emotions. And that will also be for the betterment of the planet. When we have more lower emotional energies in the lower astral plane, that can create a lot of chaos on the planet. Our weather patterns, like things like tsunami, things like how people are controlled by emotions, when they're swayed by mass consciousness, all of that, impacts us on so many various levels. So we do have a responsibility before we pass on to really clear up our emotional body. And I feel it is one of the most important things that we need to do, because when we learn how to empower ourselves emotionally, and when we pass on, the energies that we contribute to the higher astral plane will serve the greater good of humanity. So that's in a sense like service work as well, right? So if you and I master our emotions right now while we're still alive, we are contributing to the consciousness of humanity. Even that's in a sense like leaving a legacy, but it's a bit invisible kind of legacy. It's not like we go around telling people, hey, I mastered my emotions, so my descendants can have a better emotional energy to work with, right? We're not going to go around saying that, but I won't be surprised if people do. When spiritual pride gets in the way, spiritual delusion gets in the way, people can go around saying things like that. But in essence, what we want is to leave, is a little bit like our footprint, right? Leave this space much better than than when we came in. And also, in a sense, if we are able to do this, we can also, when we come back, reincarnate back, it also gives us nicer, more balanced energies, or more balanced emotional energies to work with, right, when we come back in our next incarnation. All right, does that make sense? Anyone has questions?